Hey, Premier Planet, Justin Barlow back with you, and I'm here tonight to tell you about PPW 56, the event we just finished here, right here in the Premier Studio in Woodstock, Illinois. First up, we had Scott Colton taking on Max Cruz, this time with a special 20-minute time limit. Going into this, these guys had a draw, and then Max Cruz scored a victory the last time they met, so it was up to Scott Colton to catch up, and did he ever. I'm not exaggerating, 0.89 seconds left on the clock before the time limit expired. Colton was able to roll Cruz up, get the victory. These guys are now tied at one draw and one win apiece, and they're gonna go at it again Saturday night, July the 11th at our next event, this time with 25 minutes on the clock. We'll see how that one goes. These guys have had 3 incredible matches already. The next one, sure to not disappoint. Following that, we had Texas Sneaky Pete taking on Irish Andy Anderson. 2 ring vets. These guys have been in the ring together a lot. Texas Pete just playing mind games with Andy Anderson the whole time, getting in, doing laps around the ring, getting in before the ref stops the count out, and just trying to get into Andy's head. But like they say, you can't get into the head of a crazy man, and we all know that Andy Anderson, he's not quite right up top. And Andy Anderson, he had all this scouted. He was able to cut Pete off from doing all that nonsense. And Andy Anderson, your winner in that match, Texas Pete fuming. What was funny here, though, was Andy didn't do it by himself. Shaky Jake Daniels, your referee tonight, actually in a way kind of teamed up with Andy to take on Texas Pete. As if you've been keeping up with our product, you know that Shaky Jake and Texas Pete, they have a history. They don't really like each other. So Shaky Jake Daniels and Andy Anderson kind of double teaming Texas Pete tonight. Pete was fuming that he lost under those circumstances, so he challenged Andy Anderson to a beard versus beard match. Texas Pete came in showing off his little man trim he had around his face, challenged Andy to a beard versus beards match, which means next time we're together on July 11th, if Texas Pete loses, he has to shave his beard, but if he wins, not only does Andy Anderson have to shave his trademark beard, but Shaky Jake Daniels is going to have to shave his as well. That's going to be an interesting match, to say the least. Following that, former tag team partners and champions locked up again when Chase Gosling took on his former best friend, now his most bitter rival, the Urban Rebellion, Cutter Crosby. Chase's attitude continues to just go in a completely different direction week after week. He comes out tonight, he's fussing with his hair, he's brushing the fans off, fans who wanted high fives from little kids. He's saying, no, I'm not gonna high five you. Cutter Crosby did not waste any time. His music hit, he didn't walk around the ring, he came like a bullet from the aisle into the ring, took it right to Chase Gosling, and as much as Chase tried to get another victory over Cutter, whatever tactic he tried, Cutter Crosby walked away with a victory in that, and Chase was fuming from the loss. He literally stomped all the way back up the aisle and back to the locker room. Following that, we saw PPW trainee and standout Inestra taking on the Science Marcus Smith. Before the match started, Marcus, trying to prove that Inestra was just not in any way as physically on the same level as him, challenged Inestra to a push-up contest. First, he challenged him to do 5 regular push-ups. Inestra did 10. So Marcus upped the ante, said, I bet you can't do 5 clappers, where you go down and you push yourself up and you clap. Again, Inestra doing 10, double the required amount, just to show up the Science. And then the Science once again upped the ante by saying, well, bet you can't do it with one arm. As Inestra is going down for the one-arm push-up, the Science kicks him right in the ribs, cheap shot, and he just starts taking it to Inestra. But Inestra, there's a reason this guy is a standout in the Premier Academy. He came back with fire and passion, and he was able to pick up his very first win here in Premier Pro Wrestling. But as he was celebrating that victory, who comes down but elite E.J. Jensen to spoil the fun? E.J. just kicks the snot out of this poor kid, has him in the middle of the ring with his boot right in Inestra's throat, starts mocking him, and these two ended up having a match together where EJ, he pretty much thought he was going to pick the bones, but Inestra, again, fire and passion. He really took it to EJ Jensen. Unfortunately, the exhaustion from that first match with Marcus Smith, too much for Inestra. EJ Jensen was able to tap him out with an over-the-shoulder single leg crab, but Inestra, all the credit in the world to you, man. Heart, passion, this kid, we're going to see a lot more out of him in the future. Following that, the world exclusive Matt Vine took on one half of the World Tag Team Champions, the corn-fed Colossus, the 290-pound Texan, Michael Mack. Michael Mack just laid a beating on Matt Vine. Matt Vine actually spent the majority of the match just trying to stay away from Michael Mack. And it ended with Matt Vine, once again, pulling the rabbit out of the hat and picking up a win over Michael Mack. And as soon as he did, Vine goes out the front door, blows Mack a kiss. Obviously, Mack has steam shooting out of his ears from seeing this because Mack is a man's man, and he chases Vine right out of the Premier studio. Following that, we had our main event. Childhood friends locked up for the #1 contendership for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, on a side note, there's a reason this was our main event tonight. Malad Akbar, our World Heavyweight Champion, suffering a bruised sternum at our last event. He was at home recovering tonight, so the title was not on the line. We do wish Malad all the best for a speedy recovery. But back to Jay Cross and Alex Bernardino. These guys just left it all in this ring. I know it's been said so many times in our profession, but they really did. They showed how much they wanted that belt. These two guys were willing to put 10, 15 years of friendship completely to the side for a chance to become the World Heavyweight Champion. And just as these guys were about to finish each other off, it seemed like the whole roster decided to come down and get a piece, because the whole roster ended up in the ring and we had a complete melee. It was chaos. The bell was ringing off the bolt. There was nothing we could do. Finally, these guys ended up beating each other all the way to the back, to the locker room. The match was thrown out. Neither of these two men won, but the next time we're together, again, that date, Saturday night, July the 11th, go write it down, pause this video if you have to, July the 11th, we are going to resurrect the Something to Prove Challenge. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a scrimmage style match where two men are in the ring at a time and all the other participants are going to be surrounding the ring on the apron. Tags are going to be in and out at random. Eliminations are by pinfall, submission, countout, or disqualification. The match goes until there's only one guy left, and that guy will go on to become the #1 contender for the Premier Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. So something to prove, definitely an understatement when it comes to this one. So once again, that next date, Saturday night, July the 11th, 7:30 p.m., the bell rings. Our doors open at 7, 1230 Davis Road in Woodstock, Illinois. We're right by the Super 8 Motel and the mobile gas station, and right next door to Jimmy's Music Shop. 4 big matches already on the card, 25-minute time limit between Max Cruz and Scott Colton. Also, we're going to have the Beard versus Beards match, Texas Pete taking on Andy Anderson. If Pete loses, he gets shaved, but if Pete wins, Andy Anderson and Shaky Jake Daniels both get shaved. We have the Something to Prove Challenge to crown the new #1 contender, and Malad Akbar will be here next time to defend the World Heavyweight Championship against the 400-pound, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, the Juggernaut, Khalid Chapman. No rest for the wicked there. Malad giving up a lot of size and a lot of weight in this one, but Malad, as we all know, there's a reason they call him the Persian Powerhouse. One more time, that date is Saturday night, July the 11th. Bring your family, bring your friends. We'll see you there.